Good morning, students. Welcome to our morning session on the very interesting, very value-adding topic of overheads. I believe this is one of the crux topics of costing. This is a topic where you are actually doing real hardcore costing. And this is the topic where it requires a lot of costing skills, a lot of the judgmental skills, because overheads are something, as we have been discussing, which is not directly related, identifiable with your product, and hence it is overheads. Yes, very good morning, Mustafa, Harsh, Deepika, Rajveer, Gunjan, Niharika, Kairavi, all others. So students, let us start with what we were discussing, what we were studying. So in the previous class, if you all remember, we have completed the first aspect in overheads. That is what is the primary distribution of overheads. One second. Okay. So primary distribution was where whatever are your expenses, those expenses, obviously the overhead expenses, are either allocated or apportioned between all the various departments in your factory. And this whole process is what is called as departmentalization of overheads in the theory part. Now for allocation, what you are doing is you are already knowing the expenses for each department separately. You are simply putting the expense in the respective column, means you are allocating the expense to the respective department. That is allocation of overheads. Then for all those cases where the expenses are incurred commonly for the entire factory, there you have to divide the expense to all the departments in your factory. That is what is apportionment. For that, we need some ratio. That is what is called as basis of apportionment. So all these technical terms have some meaning. So basis of apportionment is the ratio in which you are dividing. Perfect. Chalo. Yes. Morning, Nashin. So anybody having any questions or doubts, please put it across before we can start with the next part in this chapter. Anybody not understood any part? Anybody wants me to re-explain something? Anybody having particular question about treatment of any particular expense? Please let me know. Yes, Jaya Beta. I have some answers of these questions. I'll definitely share. See why I'm not sharing beforehand, because then what I'm asking you all to do, solving by yourself, that will miss out. So once we complete today's session, we'll be covering majority of the part. So I'll be posting the solved answers which I have for some of these questions. Fine. Okay, others, please let me know. Any question that you have, any doubts that you have relating to any of these topics. No question, students? Should I proceed then to the next important step in overheads, which is the secondary distribution? Now, as you would have seen when we discussed this, so the first step is you estimate your overhead expense and you bifurcate it into production, administration, selling. You directly calculate the charging rate overhead recovery rate for administration is selling at this step itself. For production, you have two choices. You calculate it at this step itself, or you do it with what steps we are dealing with, which is called as departmentalization. The difference will be in this step, for administration selling, you have one single charging rate. Similarly, for production, you'll have one single charging rate, which will also be called as blanket rate. If you start dividing the production overheads further into its departments like production department, service department, then ultimately what you will get is charging rate for each of the production departments. That is where it is called as departmental rates approach. Now, after primary, where we have reached? After primary, we reach to the point where I get my overhead expense for each of the production department and each of the service department. So at this stage, all my expenses, all the overheads, direct material, direct labor for the service departments, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect all expenses for all departments, and then these common expenses, which will be distributed between all. So at the end of primary distribution, we end up with having total overheads of each department, which includes the production also and the service also. Now, understand one thing. We are doing costing of the product. We ultimately want to charge these overheads to the products. But for charging the overheads to the products, what is important is we need to find out charging rates for production departments only. Why? Because the products are produced in these production departments. These service departments have no role to play in the production of the product. Then what do these service departments do? These service departments are actually serving the other departments. So for example, this is your stores department. So what it is doing, it is storing the material required by other department. This is the repairs and maintenance department. What it is doing, it is doing the maintenance of all the machineries in other departments. Now, if this is clear, then comes the next step. Now, ultimately, I want the charging rates only for these departments. So what I do is, before I calculate the charging rates, because the calculation of charging rates is by the mother formula, numerator total overheads, denominator the base for that department. But before I do that, what I will do is I will reapportion the expenses of service departments to the production departments. What do I mean by reapportion? Reapportion means I've already done a portion once of all expenses between all departments. Now, whatever is the expense or overheads of service departments, I will now allocate it to production. Hence, it is called as reapportionment, and this is what is secondary distribution. Now, comes some important conceptual part. When we talk about secondary distribution or redistribution of production overheads. Now, there are different possibilities, there are different scenarios. So, these are your departments. Now, as I said, there are different possibilities. The possibilities are service departments are providing the services, they are rendering services only to the production departments, but not to one another. So X, Y are not providing any service to one another. So this part you will see there is no service between them. First possibility, right? Second possibility is they are providing services to the production departments, . but one of them, let us say X, is also providing services to Y. Now, in our example, how it is possible practically? So in our example, X is the stores department, Y is the maintenance department. Now, what is X doing? What is the service X is providing to the departments? It is storing the materials, the equipments, the tools of all the departments. This is the service which X is giving to the departments. Now, as it is storing the materials, tools of the production departments, it is also storing the repairing required material, the maintenance required material of department Y. So Y is a service department, service of repairs and maintenance. For doing repairing and maintaining, you require many tools, equipment, spare parts. All these are kept in the stores. So in this way, stores is also rendering services to the maintenance department. But maintenance is not required for stores because stores does not have any machine which requires maintenance. So there is no provision of service by Y to X. So this is your second case scenario where one of the service departments is providing service to the other, but the other one is not providing to the first one. And then comes the third possibility. I'm sure by now you would have identified what would be this third possibility. So the third possibility is X is giving service to Y and Y is also giving service to X. So here both are providing services to one another. Like X is the stores department. So I said it is storing materials of Y. Y is the repairs department. So X is storing all the equipments, tools, which is required for maintenance of Y. So that way X gives service to Y. And Y, which is the repairs department, X is having different racks. X is stores. So stores has many types of uh, these sliders. And nowadays there are some very high end, you can say, equipments which are used in the stores department for lifting the material so that it can be kept at the racks which are at the height. Even nowadays the racks are such that they would be raised to the height so that the upper part of the room is also used. So for all this you require different types of machines and equipments which are maintained by Y. So since the stores is a sophisticated type of store requiring using different types of equipments in their storing function, which are being repaired and maintained by Y. So this is how Y is also providing service to X. Now, these are the different possibilities by which X and Y, which are the service department, may be treated in real life scenario. Now, I have been telling you from day one, costing and FM are such subjects which are dependent on real life scenarios. Hence, whatever you study in costing and FM, the techniques are very much practical. Practical does not mean solving. Practical means which you also can apply in your day-to-day life, whatever you are doing in your family, in your house, in your kitchen. That is what is the practical applicability of costing and FM. Now, this is again one such scenario where there are different possible practical scenarios that are existing in different factories. And as a cost accountant, you need to first identify out of this which scenario is present in your factory so that accordingly you will select the method of secondary distribution. Now, what are these methods of secondary distribution? This method in which no service department is providing service to another, but they are providing only to production is called as direct method. This one, where one of the service department serves the other, but the other one is not again serving back the first. This is called as step ladder. Now, both these come under the category of non-reciprocal methods. And then the next category is reciprocal. Under reciprocal, what is happening? Why it is reciprocal? Because both are providing services to one another. Hence, it is reciprocal. Under reciprocal, you are given two choices. First is the repeated distribution method, also called as trial and error method. So this is first. Second, you have the simultaneous equation method. Now, students, understand this. Importantly, there are three scenarios. One, two, three. I am saying scenarios, possibilities. You have to identify out of these three which one is present in the respective industry where you are doing costing and cost accounting. And accordingly, you have to select one of these three methods. Now, since these are three different scenarios, the answers for all these three are always different. Within the third scenario, you are given these optional methods. I'm using the word optional. Means any of these methods you select, the answer will remain same. So you have a choice that if the scenario is reciprocal, out of these, which method you will select. Correct? Now, in order to practically understand these methods, we are going to solve sums. But what I always prefer is when for the same thing, like for the same secondary distribution, you are provided with broadly four methods, we should always do a comparative study. Comparative means where by taking one single question, we solve it by all the methods, all the different methods that are there. You should always follow this approach in every subject. Why? Because when you solve the same question by all the options or methods, it will add more value because you will have a comparative understanding between the two. Like here, for this secondary distribution, we have four methods falling in three categories or three scenarios. I will take one sum. Now, technically, there is not a possibility where one sum will cater to all the three situations because the situations are different. It means practically the sums are different. However, what we will do is we will take a sum which is falling in this scenario. That is, both are giving service to one another, and we will modify the sum to match with our requirement. So we will modify this sum to match our requirement so that the sum suits all the four methods. So actually, the sum cannot be, one single sum cannot be of all the four methods. Every sum can be only of one of the scenarios. But since we need to have a comparative understanding, we will solve that one sum by all the alternative methods by modifying the question slightly. So in my sheet, we will solve question number 5. This question pertains to the reciprocal category. Now, this is also interesting. How can you understand which question is pertaining to which category? For this, let us see this example first. So in question number 5, how the data is given. Now, since we are only solving sums on secondary, and in exams also, there is a possibility of having sums only on secondary. So it means primary would have already been done because without primary, you cannot do secondary, right? So there is a possibility, not a possibility, sorry. There is one type of sum in the exams where only secondary is required. Now, in such sums, primary is already done. So see what is the data saying. A company has three production department, two service department. right? So this is same. You can say what we did in the previous class for primary. The distribution summary of overheads is as follows. Prepare only secondary distribution. Now, if I have to do only secondary, so primary should have been done. Primary is already done. How? I am now given the overheads for each of the departments. So as you can see, now the overheads, that is the expenses, are given for each of the departments. Meenu Kumari, what are you saying? Yes, so I may also provide service to X, na Meenu. So in non-reciprocal, in step ladder, it will be any one department providing services to another. So and that is our, see, like in this particular case, where we are going to modify the sum, it is our choice how we modify the sum. You can modify saying X provides to Y, or you can modify the sum saying Y provides to X. So Meenu Kumari, it is possible always. In any option, you can solve the sum. So that is our choice, correct? I only took an example that X is giving to Y. In some scenario, it may be Y giving to X, right? Okay, students, pay attention. Now, this is a secondary sum. Hence, you are already given the first step, that is primary is done. How do you know? If you see the original type of sums, these were our original sums from where overhead starts, where you are given the names of the expenses and the different parameters for distributing the common expenses, which we call as basis of apportionment. So this is the most raw sum. This is the most starting point sum where the basic data is given to you of all the expenses. But this sum which we are taking is purely of secondary distribution. Primary is done. How do you know? Now you are not given the expenses. Rather, you are given the overheads of the production and the service departments. This proves that primary is already done. Now coming to the next point, how do you understand whether the question is of direct, or the question is of step ladder, or the question is of reciprocal? Out of the three categories, which category applies here? So that you'll come to know from this table. Now, what is this table for? The table says the expenses of service department are to be charged on percentage basis. Like how in primary distribution, we had to divide the common expenses between all the departments using some ratio. Now, the ratio was either number of employees, the ratio was either machine hours, the ratio was either area. So here also you'll require some ratio. Now, how is this ratio given? They are giving ratio like this. So what they are saying, the expenses of X department, which is one of your service department, is divided between all the departments in the ratio of, or the percentage of, services given by X to others. So what they have given, X is giving 40% of its service to A, 30% to B, 20% to C, and 10% to Y. Now, once you see that X is giving some service to Y, correct? So you understand that it is not definitely the direct method. Why? Because one is giving to another. Similarly, when you see Y, you will find that Y is giving 30% of its service to A, 30% to B, 20% to C, and also 20% to X. So effectively, X is giving to Y is giving to X. It means the question originally is of which category? Yes, Meenu, correct. It is of the reciprocal category. Now, as we will solve different sums, you will get to know that in some other sums, it would be direct because this would not have been given. Only X is giving to ABC, Y is giving to ABC, so it is direct. In some of the other question, only this is given, this is not given. It means what? X is giving to Y, but y is not giving to x. So you'll automatically come to know that the question is of step ladder category, right? So this is how you will identify from the question, students, as to the question belongs to which category. Now, originally, this question is of the reciprocal category. But as I said, since we are studying this concept, I want to give you a comparative understanding of this. So we will solve this by all the methods. Now, the question is, how is it possible? Firstly, can you get such type of questions in the exams also, where originally the question is of reciprocal, but they ask you to solve it by direct method or by step ladder method? Can you get this type of question in exams? Answer is yes. In fact, after this question, which is for explaining you all the methods, when I'll take up the other questions of this category, which are the exam questions, you will find that even in exam questions, they have done this. Originally, the question may be of reciprocal or of step ladder, but they ask you to solve it by direct. Originally, the question is of reciprocal, but they ask you to solve it by step ladder. So this is possible even for exam questions. Now, when this is possible for exam questions, then comes how to solve it. So answer is simple. My question falls in the reciprocal category. Why? X is giving to y is giving to x. So both are serving one another. So it is the case of reciprocal. But if I have to solve it by direct, how we will solve it? We will ignore. So this is how the question becomes the question of direct. Then the same question, when we will be solving by step ladder, what we will do? We will only ignore y to x, but we will keep x to y. So automatically the sum will become of step ladder. So even in exam, students, if reciprocal question given, data given, but asking you to solve by other method, this is how you have to proceed. Correct, students? Done? Super. Now, we will solve this by the first method, which is the direct method. So I will modify the sum by ignoring x giving service to y and also ignoring y giving service to x. With this modification, let me solve. So students, we are solving question number 5. We are in the second leg of this chapter, that is secondary distribution. Now, please understand the format is same. Why? Because actually primary and secondary are not different. In fact, once you complete primary here, what we did in the previous class, exactly below this, you start apportioning department X and Y expenses to the other departments. Means what? There is no separate secondary working. It continues in this same working of primary. However, if in the exams, they are asking you to do it separately, like in this sum, so what I will do, I'll copy paste the same format. So the name also will be same. The only difference is, since this question was requiring you to do it by, or was requiring you to do the primary distribution only, we had given the heading as statement of primary distribution. Now, since this question is requiring you to do secondary only, we'll say statement of secondary distribution of production overheads. So everything is same. In fact, format also same. Particulars, amount, ratio, production departments, service departments. Because as I said, why everything is same? Because these are not two separate workings. They are same table. So after understanding secondary, when we'll go to comprehensive, we'll find that in the same sum, we are doing both. So students, I hope you're understanding the formatting part. I'm emphasizing this because I believe this is one of the most simplest chapters, and it is a sure short marks giving chapter. The only thing that you need to do is understand and remember all these ratios, which has to be used where, and then what are these different types of questions and how to solve, because solving is simple mechanical. Now, since in this question we have to do secondary, my starting point is as per primary distribution statement. So, in short, we are starting from this stage. So what you will get by solving in primary is total of all the departments A, B, C, X, Y. And after that, you will do the secondary part. So this question of secondary will start from here. So how it will start? I'll put the total overheads of each of the departments which I have got by the primary step. So 13,600, 14,700, 12,800. Correct? And 9 and 3. First step is to put down the totals. Now we start with our methods. So my first method is direct method. Now, how are we going to solve by direct method? We are going to ignore the services given by X to Y and Y to X. So automatically your question becomes of direct method. Okay. I have some queries. 1 second. Medha, don't worry. I'm anyways repeating everything when I'm solving, so your doubt will be solved. Harsh, sir, then how to maintain percentage of distribution? Let's see, Harsh, you'll get the answer. Okay. We have to write that X is giving service to Y. Gunjan, see, you don't have to write anything because if the question is of step ladder, the data would be given accordingly. Here, we are modifying it for our purpose. Just so that I can give you the comparative feel, I am modifying it. In the exam, either the question will be of step ladder, you have to solve by step ladder. And if it is of reciprocal and you have to solve by step ladder, they will tell you who is giving service to whom and whose service has to be ignored. Right, students? Just a second. Till then, just make the table. I'm just coming back in a minute. Students, I hope all your queries are cleared up to this point. Now, to solve this sum by direct, we are ignoring X to Y, Y to X. Now, Harsh has a very obvious question, sir, then how we will solve? Because this percentage total will not be equal to 100. See, the point is, if you are ignoring one of the percentages given in the question, for me, anyways, these percentages are not percentages, they are ratios. So now when I will be writing, so here, now I'll start distributing department X expenses. What is the amount I have to distribute? 9,000. Basis, I will write given. Why? I am not selecting any base. They have already given the base. Now, what I will do, I will simply write it as a ratio. 4, 3, 2. That's it. So even Harsh, the point of percentage is not affecting me because I'm not writing percentage. I'm writing the ratio. Correct, beta? Now this 9,000 or has to be distributed in the ratio. So if I divide it in this ratio, the amounts which I'm getting is 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. Now what you have distributed, you should put it as negative and you have given nothing to Y. Correct? Generally, we make interim totals of service departments, though it is of no use here, but it will be useful from the next method. So we make interim totals. Now we distribute department Y's expenses. How much is Y? It is 3,000. So we distribute 3,000. Again, the ratio is given. We don't have to select any ratio. It is 3:3:2. So it is 3:3:2. That is 8. So 3,000 divided in the ratio of 3:3:2. Thank you, Ishwarya. That is good for thought that you understood what I will need. Good. So Ishwarya has already given me the breakup in this ratio. Nothing is given to X. So dash and Y 3,000 is divided. Now you make a total. So anyways, both the service departments are now exhausted because they have been distributed. And now this is the final total of department A's overheads. So now I'll get the final overheads. A is 13 plus 4, 17 plus 1, 18, 18, 7, 25. 14 plus 3, 17 and 1, 18, 18, 8, 25. 12 and 12, 14, 14 and 15, 5, 50. So these are the totals. Yes, Meenu, thank you. This is clear, students. So this is by the first method, that is the direct method, correct? Now I'll repeat the format again to solve it by the second method. Same format because primary, secondary are same. Now my method would be step ladder method, and I am assuming X is giving to Y, correct? This you don't have to do in the exams. Either the exam sum will be already of step ladder and you are solving by step ladder. And if it is of reciprocal and you have to solve by step ladder, they will already mention in the exam what you have to assume. I am assuming X is giving to Y, Y is not giving to X. Again, starting point is same. See, this is the steps for secondary distribution, which will remain same. Only we are changing the method, that is the approach. So as per primary distribution statement, what are the amounts? It is same. So A, B, C, X, Y. So this is 13,600, 14,700, 12,800, 9,000, 3,000. Correct? Now students, see how the question is modified. Now X is giving to Y. So this will be there, but Y is not giving to X. So I will keep this deleted. Now this type of a question where one service department is giving to another, but that other one is not giving to the first one. This type of a question becomes the question of step ladder, correct? Service department expenses. Amount which I have to distribute is 9,000. Ratio is given, and ratio is 4, 3, 2, and 1. 1 is of Y. Correct? Very good. Meenu. Very good. Shamli. So Shamli has already given me the breakup as per this. So she says 3,600. I don't think so, Shamli. This is correct. B, I'm having a doubt. Shamli, please check. So now this 9,000 divided in this ratio, 9 fours are, 9 threes are, 9 twos are, 9 ones are. So Shamli, all you have to yes. Now it is perfect. Yes, Rajvi, correct. And this 9,000 has to be subtracted because it is distributed from X. Again, I'll take interim totals. Yes, Urmi. So this is nil. Now, interestingly, the total of Y is 3,900. Now, when I distribute service department Y's expenses, it is slightly higher. Why? Because Y has received share from X. That is why Y's expenses are higher. Yes, Harsh. Yes, Ishwarya. Now, when I distribute Y, it will be only to A, B, C because it is step ladder. Step ladder is when one is giving to another, but the other one is not giving to the first one. So Y is not giving any services to X. So our ratio is 3:3:2. Ratio given 3:3:2. Now we divide 3,900 in the ratio of 3:3:2. Correct, Meenu? Very good, Riddhi. So Riddhi is giving me this breakup also. 14,625. Riddhi, is it correct? Such a huge figure, 14,625. I doubt, Riddhi. There is some typo error, maybe. Is it 1462.5? Medha, please recheck. Yes, Shamli, correct. No, Medha, please recheck. So it is 1462.5, 1462.5, correct? Yes, Harsh, correct. Yes, Rajveer. Wow, Jaya has even given me the totals. Yes, Ishwarya. Perfect. Riddhi, Tervi, Krishna. Perfect, everyone. So this is 975. Now we are giving nothing to X, and this 3,900 has to be subtracted. Now I'll get total overheads. Total of A is this 13, 16, 17, 6, 12. 16. So it is 18, 662.5. 14, 16, 17, 17, and this is 1800. So 18, 862.5. 12, 13. 13, this is 16 plus 9, 25. So 13, 15, 575. Right, students? Jaya had already given me these figures. Yes, so they are matching. But why we use the ratio? Because beta x is also giving to y. If x is giving to y, so you have to take 4, 3, 2, 1. Y is not giving to x, so you will take 3, 3, 2 of y. Correct, Mustafa beta? Yes, perfect. Medha, what is again this figure 7,800? I'm not getting. Yes, Prajyot, very good. So these are nil. Now, if you compare these figures with the previous method figures, here you are getting 18,725, now you are getting 18,662, 18,825, 18,862, 1550, 15,575. It means the answers are different. Why? Because the situation is different. Students, the answers depend upon the scenario. If the scenario changes, by default, the answer will be different. Okay? Understood by all? I hope the first two methods are clear. Anybody, any questions or doubts with these methods? Now we'll be solving by the third category, that is reciprocal. Within reciprocal, we have two methods. So we'll solve by both the methods. I'm again preparing the same table. Particulars, amount rupees, basis of apportionment, production department A, B, C, service department X, Y. Now, as per primary distribution statement, correct figures are same. So they are 13,600, 14,700, 12,800, 9,000, 3,000. Now, we solve it by our third category, reciprocal, and within reciprocal, we are doing it by the repeated distribution method, which is also same like trial and distribution method. Right? Good. Very good. Okay. Now here, both x and y are giving to one another, correct? So I start distributing x, which is 9,000. Ratio is given. It is 4:3:2:1. Right? So it will be same like what we got here. 4:3:2:1, 3,600, 2,700, 1,800, 900. Sir, my voice is coming? यस सर। सर सुबह सब लोग उठ के सबसे पहला काम करते हैं, लोग सबको गुड मॉर्निंग मैसेजेस वीडियोस भेजते हैं, तो इसलिए वो मेरा पूरा स्क्रीन ही अभी हैंग हो गया है। हाँ, ठीक। So students, we divided department X expenses between ABC XY. Now we make interim totals. X is nil, Y is 3,900. Now the difference is when we divide Y's expenses, now we will also give to X. So now this ratio we will be using. So it is 3, 3, 2, 2. So 4, sorry, not 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. Yes, Minu. Okay. So Ishwarya has already given me the breakup. So Ishwarya has given me 170, 780, 780, 3,900 negative. Now, until now, in the previous two methods, our step was concluded here. We used to get the final answer, but now you are not getting final answer here. Why? Because again, I have some expenditure in X. So I have to again divide X. Now, how much of X I have to divide? 780. Ratio is same, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now I have to divide this amount for X. 4 is to 3 is to 2 is to 1. Okay, Minu has given me a figure. So I have to now divide 780 in the ratio of 4 is to 2 is to 1. So whatever I can calculate orally, till then I'll do that. 156 and 522, 23. 2, 3, 4. And then double of this 3, 1, 2. So these are my values. 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 6. Yes, Ishwarya. Yes, Riddhi. Correct, Meenu. Now, students, this is nil, but again, you have something in y. Now, the y is 78. So you have to now divide y again. Again, the ratio is that of y. 3, 3, 2, 2. So 156, 156, 7.8. So 22, 23. Correct? Yes, correct, Meenu. Ishwarya, Riddhi, Prajot, Medha. Very good. Correct. Good. Now what? Nil and 15.6. I'm sure you would have understood why this is called as repeated distribution method. Because we keep on repeating. Now, the question comes, how will all this end? You can go up to decimals. Answer is, you will have to end it. How? Now, when I'm distributing, I will ignore y. So, if I ignore y, so nothing will go to y. And now when I distribute this, my procedure would end. So this is how repeated distribution is done. But the question is how to end? Answer is simple. Stop giving to the other department. But the question is when do we take this decision? Why we ignore? When should we? This is what I'm answering. Now the question is why we ignore? Because without ignoring, the process will not stop better. You will keep continuing. The main question is when to decide to do this. The answer is when the distribution will become a very small value, a single digit value, maybe something 2 rupees, 3 rupees. Like right now, if I distribute this further to y, it will get a very small value, 1, 2, 3 rupees. Again, going back to that term which I used in the previous class also, materiality principle. You studied this for the very first time in accounts. Now you are understanding it even in the subject of auditing. In fact, materiality concept has huge importance in auditing. Same thing when you come here, you will realize that materiality is a very important concept in your entire profession. In every subject, we apply the concept of materiality. Same thing we do here. Now, in this step, if I had to divide it and give it to the other service department, how much would I have got here? Even if I would have divided, it would have been something 2 or 3 rupees. Hence, which is since 2 or 3 rupees will be immaterial in thousands and lakhs of rupees figure. So we decide not to give. So when you have to take this call, when the amount distributed becomes very small, correct? Now, Riddhi has given me 6.93, 5.2, and 3.47. Students, you can definitely round this off. Instead of taking exact, you can round it off, and that is fine. Yes, very good, everyone. So this is how repeated distribution would be done. Correct? Now you'll make a total of ABC. So give me the totals A, B, C. Yes, tell me. Okay, so now I'm getting some figures. Minu says is 18712 point something, which I can ignore. Then 18333 and 15555. Okay, similar answer, students. Medha, I did not get your figures. There is some mistake, Medha. Yes. Others are getting similar figures. Yes. So I hope you all understood, students. Very good, Aishwarya. Yes, Deepali. Mhm. Now again, compare, students. The answers that we were getting. The first method gave 18,725. Here we are getting 18,712, 18,825, 18,33. So it is different. Similarly, if you compare it with the second method also, the answers are different. They will be different. Why? Because the approach, the concept in each of the three cases is different. Very good. Okay. Harsha has corrected me. She says it is 18,832. So it is corrected. Okay. Fine, students. Should we proceed? Now will come the same thing, that is reciprocal, same answer, but without doing so many repeated steps. Correct? Let's see. So I'm again putting down the format. Statement of secondary distribution of production overheads, particulars, amount rupees, basis of apportionment, production departments, service departments as per primary distribution statement. What were the amounts? 13,600, 14,700, 12,800, 9,000, 3,000. Now, students, again, same approach, same scenario, reciprocal, but now by the simultaneous equation method. And here I will distribute department X expenses. I will distribute department Y's expenses. And in one step of distribution, I will get the same answer. It will be 18,712, 18,3, 18,833, 15,555, nil, nil. Why I'll get now same answer? Till now I was not getting. Why now I'll get same answer? For the reason that till now there were different scenarios. Now the scenario in this case is same. What is same in this case? The same is that you are having the same reciprocal scenario. Only thing is that we are solving it by an alternative method. This alternative method is only different. Baki everything is same, that is both are giving service to one another. Now since both are giving service to one another, you should get the same answer. But how? That is where slight mathematics will come into play. What is this mathematics? Let us understand. So what we have seen in reciprocal, what happens? X and Y are continuously allocating whatever is their expense to another. Like here, X allocated 900 to Y. Now, out of 3,900, Y allocated 780 to X. Then out of 780, it allocated 78. Out of 78, it allocated 15.6 and so on. Now, this is getting continued. It means what each service department is getting from the other, pay attention, what each service department is getting from the other is, one second, calculation of total expenses of service departments. So what is the total expense? Let total expense of service department X be X. Let total expense of service department Y be Y. Now, what is this total? This total, one second, is own expenses plus share in other department. Similarly, own expenses plus share in other department. Now, what is the own expenses of X? X own expenses is 9,000 plus how much X is getting from Y? X is getting 20% from Y. Now, the equation will be X, that is the total expense of department X, is equal to own expense plus 20% of Y. This is my first equation. Similarly, what is the second equation? Y is equal to own expense, which is 3,000 plus how much of X Y is getting? Y is getting 10% of X. So it is 10% of X. Correct? Clear? Any questions? Any doubts till this point? Perfect. Okay. Now, once you have created this, we simply solve this equation. How? Substituting value of Y in equation 1. So we solve this equation, and in this equation, we substitute Y as this. because we have said that y is this. So let me substitute the value of y here. So substituting value of y in equation 1. So what is equation 1? X is equal to 9,000 plus 20% of y. Now how much is y? Y is this. So y is 3,000 plus. How much will be 10% of x? It will be 0.1x. Correct, students? Now let us solve this. So x is equal to 9,000 plus 20% of 3,000 is 600. 20% of zero point 0.1 is 0.02x. Be clear. Medha, what answers you are giving, but I am not getting. Correct? Now, this 0.02x will come on the left hand side. Now, this x means 1. 1 minus 0.02 is 0.98x is equal to 9,600. Therefore, x is equal to, divide 9,600 by 0.98. Yes, Minu, correct. So I am getting the value of x as 9796. Yes, Shamli. Yes, Medha. Perfect, Riddhi. Yes, Prajot. Yes, Rajveer. Good. Now starts the magic. Now when I have to divide x, I will divide it this amount which I have got from working note 1. How much is this amount? 9796. Ratio given. What is the ratio of x? It is 4, 3, 2, 1. Now divide this. Interestingly, for the first time, we are distributing more than what that department has. So for the first time, this department total will become negative. Correct? Students, tell me. Medha, again, I'm not getting which answer you are giving me. Students, tell me the values of A, B, C. So divide 9796 in the ratio of 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So Riddhi is giving me 3918.4. Further, she says 2938.8. 2938.8. Further, she's saying 1959.2. 1959.2. Okay. Students cross confirm. Very good. Meenu, Ishwarya, Riddhi, Rajot, Rajveer. Rajveer, again, what is your in-between figure? Acha, you have not put the comma. ठीक है. Yes, Jaya, correct. Aishwarya, correct. Shamli, good. Correct, students. Now let us divide 79.6, and let us give it again to everyone. Now, interestingly, when you will divide this to all, x will get exactly this amount. Try this. And hence, negative, positive, x will be 0. So this step, both are becoming 0. Check it. Medha beta, your second figure, I believe, is not correct. Because B is higher than A, which I don't believe is correct. It is 1193.9. 1193.9. And 796.2, I suppose, or 95.2, that you can check. Now, students, make a total of this. You will find the total same as above, with some small rounding of difference. Make a total. Students, make a total. You will find that the totals are exactly what we got above. Right, students? Totals are matching. That is the magic. It has to match. Because the approach is same. Both are reciprocal. The only difference is above one we solved by mechanical repetitive method. This one we solved by using maths simultaneous equation. Correct? Chalo. Now, since simultaneous is slightly uh, a different or slightly mathematical, let us practice one more sum. Okay. Students, you all will solve question 7. And obviously, now you'll solve only as per the requirement of the question. So this exam problem requires you to solve by the simultaneous equation method. So, Minu beta, where trial and error method is left? If you remember, I've already mentioned repeated is also trial and error. Both methods are same, names are different. Correct? Chalo student, solve 7 sum by simultaneous. Yes, somebody said you have some question. Please ask me. Aditya. Aditya, but ask me your question.
Sir, Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, Aditya. In the meantime, others are supposed to solve question 7. Yes, Aditya, please tell me.
Sir, in equation, I have a doubt how it comes in ratios and equations in simultaneous equations.
So, but I am asking, what is your doubt?
The doubt is the equation own expense is 9,000 plus 20% of y.
Hmm.
And that's how it values comes, how it divides.
See,
Some doubts are
we were solving question 5, correct?
there.
This is the question.
Hmm.
Now, I want to make equation. Students, I hope others are solving. I am making equation for x. What is
Yes,
the
sir.
own expense of x? Is it 9,000?
Yes, sir.
How much y will be giving to x?
20%.
So done. 20% of y.
Mm-hmm.
Now make equation for y. How much is the own expense of y?
3,000 plus 10%.
How much is x giving to y?
10%.
Done. Both equations are done. Correct?
Yes, sir. But 0.1 next.
Yes, so 10% means 0.1. 20% is 0.2.
Okay,
Correct, na?
okay.
Correct, beta?
But in ratios, some have wrong, I think. 4 is to 3 is to 2 is to 1. But
Right.
there is a x and y is not allowed. Uh,
Sorry, x and y?
in x and y, that 4 is to 3 is to 2 is to 1.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
So x is giving to everyone in the ratio of 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hmm.
So how much is x giving to y? X is giving 10% to y. Or how
Okay,
much is
okay.
y getting from x? Y is getting 10% from x.
Hmm. Okay.
Correct, na?
Correct, sir. I had confused.
Correct. Solve now question 7. Give me the final totals of A, B, C in question 7. Good, Shamli. Jaya beta, you have not downloaded the sheet. Chalo, solve. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll take a small refreshment break of 2 minutes. Students, I want final totals after distribution of both service departments. Okay. So final totals are 4525, 4825, 2150. When you carried out the simultaneous equation, the total that people got for P, I'm having conflicting answers. So 2500 is the answer that you get by solving the simultaneous equation. Is this correct? Meenu, I don't think this can be correct. The total that you're telling me of P and Q cannot be correct, beta. Yes, correct. Okay. Students, I hope you all understood simultaneous. Riddhi is saying it is 2722. Let me solve them. So the simultaneous equations are P is equal to 2250 plus 20% of Q. Q is equal to 1000 plus 10% of P. Now, I will substitute Q here. I'm solving P 2250 plus 20% of 1000 plus 0.02 P. Correct? So P is 2250 plus 200. Sorry, what I did. Hmm. So 20% of 1000 is 200 plus 20% of zero point 0.1 is 0.02 P. This total, this P will come here. So 1 P minus 0.02 P is 0.98 P. And this total is 2450. Now you have to divide 2450 by 98.98. So, Riddhiben, tell me now. 2450 divided by 0.98. How much are you getting? Riddhi, ठीक है. So students, have you all got the simultaneous part? Now, let me take you to few more exam questions. Now, this is a good one. Question 4. Please read. This is again on secondary distribution. XYZ. So XYZ is the name of the company. It has 2 production departments, 3 service departments. So for the first time, we have got it other way around. Production is 2, services are 3. Expenses incurred for these department and other information available is. So for the production departments and for the service departments. Now, what is the name of the service department? First is maintenance. Second is power. It means you are having your own power generation unit. And third is the personnel, that is the labor or the HR department. Now, as per primary distribution, these are the expenses. So primary is already done. Now, interestingly, in this question, you have to yourself select the basis for doing secondary distribution. So they have given you again 3 different ratios. You will have to select which ratio is to be used where. Now, this will again require some judgment, but again, going by the names. So first department is doing maintenance. It is doing maintenance of what? Of machines of the other departments. So for maintenance service, we can use maintenance hours because this is the time it is spending on the maintenance of the machines of each department. Then for power, we already know that even in primary for power, what we do, HP into machine hours. HP is measured by kilowatts, machine hours is hours. So they have already multiplied HP into machine hours. So kWh is HP into machine hours. This power. And then personnel means the HR department or the labor related department. So it is number of employees. Now, pay attention. My question is, what is the original scenario? Whether the scenario is that it is a direct method scenario or a stepladder method scenario or a reciprocal method scenario. So you have to tell me what is the scenario of the given case. Very good, Meenu. No, Gunjan. Please identify, students, what is the scenario. No, Ishwarya. No, Rajveer. No, Jaya. Please identify what is the scenario from the data. No, Yashashwini. Yes, correct, Gunjan. Yes, Jaya. Now correct. No, Rajveer. Yes, Krishna. Correct. No, Harsh. Yes, Urmi. Correct. No, Bunty. But a method is next. What is the approach? There are 3 approaches, Ishwarya. Direct, step ladder, or reciprocal. Where yes, Meenu. Correct. Students, yes, Shamli. The answer is the scenario in the question is reciprocal. How? See, maintenance service. Is it giving service to the other 2 departments of power and personnel? Yes. So maintenance is giving to power, maintenance is giving to personnel. Now power, is it giving to maintenance and to personnel? Yes. and personnel. Is it giving to maintenance and power? Yes. It means each of the service departments are giving to one another. Now, since all are giving to one another, the question is originally of reciprocal scenario. Now, interestingly, how they have asked you to solve? They say allocate the cost of service department using. This is what I was telling you, that it may happen that, like how we solved the previous question, that originally the question was of reciprocal, but we solved it by step ladder, we solved it by direct. Same thing is asked in the exam also. So originally the question, the data is for reciprocal, but you are asked to solve it by direct. Now, how you will do this? The answer is simple. Ignore, ignore, ignore the service given by service department to one another. By simply ignoring this, your question will now get converted to the question of step ladder. Yes. Now, when you will divide the expenses, you will divide it only to production departments by ignoring service departments. Hence, the question originally of reciprocal will now become of direct. Correct, students? So, start solving. I'll wait for your answers. Before I solve, you solve. Now, I will first distribute department, service, department, maintenance, expenses. How much is the amount? 20,000. Basis, what we have selected is maintenance hours. What is the ratio? 80-20. I know as a student of maths, you can reduce it to 4:1. That you can very well do, right? Fine. So 20,000 divided in 80-20. So 16, 40, sorry, it is 20,000. So 16,000 is correct. This has to be 4,000. So 20,000 is divided. Then service department power, 48,000. What is the basis we have selected? It is kWh, that is kilowatt hours consumed. And the ratio is 4:16. Kilowatt hours consumed, ratio is 4:16. So 48,000, 2,400, 496. Good. Yashashwini, Urmi. Okay. Wow, many people have Shamli have given already the totals, the final totals. Yashashwini, Urmi, Shamli, who else? Very good, Ishwarya, Krishna, good. And then service department personnel, 40,000. Number of employees, 60-30. Correct. This I have to divide. Good. Jaya, 27,777 and 13,333 dash dash 40. Correct. So I'm just writing down the totals which I have got. Okay. 173, 377. 205733. Super. Students, very good. Yes. Jaya, Harsh, Meenu, Ishwarya, Rajot, Medha, Kamli, Ishwarya, Harsh Mishra, good. Jitu, Aditya, Riddhi, fine. Okay. So students, please check the totals again. Give me the final corrected totals. 172267. 267. Raju, please correct because I've taken wrong total over there. Correct, students. Perfect. Great. Let us proceed. So now we have got a flavor of how secondary is done. So now we have one more question, question number 6, which again I have asked you to solve by all methods. So how we solved question 5 by all methods, we'll solve 6. Again, question 8 is a question where you have to solve only secondary. Again, there are 2 production departments, 3 service departments, and they have asked you to follow step ladder. And when it is step ladder, they have asked you that which department will be the first department. So they are saying timekeeping will be the first department. So let's start with timekeeping. Ninth is a simple sum. In this, you have to first do primary distribution. And in that, you have to also do secondary distribution, but there is only one service department K. So since there is only one service department, the secondary distribution will be simple. Only K has to be divided between L and N. Now in this, we will solve this sum, which according to me, yes, this one. Now we are solving comprehensive. Comprehensive means we will do primary, we will do secondary, and we will also find out ORR, that is the overhead recovery rate, which is the complete steps of solving this. For this, I've selected this sum because this sum has some special elements in that. So we will first do primary. In the same, we will do secondary. And in the same, we will do ORR. Correct? So it will be a comprehensive sum. Chalo, I want you all to start. What Harsh is saying, there is a pop-up on my screen saying notebook. Okay, let it be better. I don't know why it is there. Don't worry. Yes, 12 sum. Let us solve. Very good, Neil. Yes, Kuldeep. So there should be no balance in the service departments. You are not able to see the percentage, Medha. Why? You have already this sheet, na? This was uploaded long back. Chalo, start solving question 12, students. There is something special in this. That is why I've selected this. Now, something important about the heading. So now we'll say statement showing. Now, till now we were saying either primary or secondary. Now we have to do both. So we'll say statement showing distribution of production overheads simply. So you'll neither say primary, you'll neither say secondary because we are doing both in this sum. Chalo, continue solving. Don't wait for me. Yes, I hope you all have started solving. Kuldeep, but if I flash the question, then how will I solve? You should take a screenshot now. Take a screenshot fast. Done. Hmm. Students, you all don't have to wait for me. Start solving at your end because now you should solve it by yourself. So for that, it is necessary that you start solving without waiting for me to give the answer and purposefully just pausing in between because I want you all to solve first, you all to reach to that question which I want that should click to you all, the special adjustment of this sum. But for that, you have to start solving at your end. I hope it is clear up to this point. Now, as we all know, direct expenses are not to be taken in the production departments. They have to be taken only in the service departments. But what is indirect, what is overheads, has to be taken in all the departments. Now, till now, this question is simple. In fact, there is nothing much in primary in this sum. What is special in this sum is this part. If you have read the question, what it says besides this data given in the first part of the question, the further part says the power requirement, that is the electricity for running the machines of these departments are met by the power generating plant. So the company, the factory has its own power generating plant. This is very common in huge industries that they do not rely much on the state electricity boards supply. They have their own parallel power generating plant unit. So this company also has its own power generating plant. Now, since you are having a separate plant which is going to generate power for you, there will be some expenses. The total expenses incurred for running this plant is 125, 121, and it is not included above means besides the above expenses, this is additional. Now, out of this, they are saying 84,375 is variable and the balance is fixed. So I first find out the fixed component. So this is total. This is variable. So the balance I get is fixed. I think it is 37,500. Yes, correct, Rajveer. Yes, Bunty. Yes, Shamli. Correct. Now, students, what is the special point of this sum? Now we have two expenses for power, the fixed portion, the variable portion. Now we already know for power, the ratio is HP into machine hours. HP into machine hours. So you are having that figure. But interestingly, there are two figures of HP into machine hours. One, power requirement at normal and actual power consumption. So they have given you HP into machine hours, which we require for power, right? And this HP into machine hours is given for two different levels. One is your normal capacity and the other is your actual consumption. Now, interestingly, this question has also divided power cost into two, variable component, fixed component, and it has also given you the basis required for power, that is HP into machine hours into 2. The question is what will be required for what? So the answer is for fixed, that is this, we will take normal. And for variable, we will take actual. The reason is very simple. Variable cost depends upon your actual working on your actual output. So variable should be divided using the actual values or actual figures. But fixed has nothing to do with how much your actual output is. Fixed remains fixed irrespective of actual output. Hence, for fixed, we will select a value which is also fixed or which is also constant, that is the normal capacity. So the normal capacity remains constant. So for fixed cost, we take the normal capacity as our basis. And for variable, since it depends upon actual output, we take actual as our basis. So here we have two, normal and actual, that we will take for both the expenses. So fixed amount is 37,500. Basis is normal KWH. And variable is 121,875. Basis is actual KWH. Correct, students? Now, how much is normal KWH? 20, 35, See, again, you have to be careful. If you are taking 2035, then this will be 12.5 and 17.5. 12.5, 17.5. Similarly, actual is 1323, and then it is 10.25 and 10. So students, when you're taking these ratios, please be very, very careful. I've been saying this right from the start of this topic from previous class that this is a simple chapter ensuring you full marks, but subject to making right calculations. One small error in haste and your answers can go haywire. So be very, very, very clear, students, and be very, very, very cautious. I'm waiting for your figures. Till then, I'll do the other preparatory part. Okay, you are correct, beta. Thank you. 121 is the total. Variable is 84375. Thank you, beta. Yes, Harsh, I've corrected. Yes, Kuldeep. No, beta Riddhi. That was my writing mistake. Yes, Krishna. Chalo, solve it now. Okay, Minu has given me the final totals. No, I think Minu, you are giving me still the breakup of power only. So she's saying this is 8823.5. Further, she says it is 15441. I'm ignoring the small percentages. Then she says it is same, and then it is 7720.5. ठीक है वेरिएबल 14,375,000. Correct. Okay. I think these are the totals. One zero eight three two four. 80890 and 72720. Great. Please cross-check the totals. Nitya Vada, please check your figures with my answers. Nitya is giving me some different figures, very different from others. I don't know why. Nitya, please see the ratios are in fractions. Here it is 12.5 and 17.5. Please consider that. Okay, New says she's having same. Seven two seven two one. Perfect. So now I think these totals are perfect. Right? Now, students, from this same question, we go to secondary distribution. Somebody saying SD1 is 67053. Have I written wrong total of SD01? No, others are saying same figure. Aishwarya, what is the answer you have given me? 283243604. I don't understand, Aishwarya. What is your answer for? See, you all are only giving me figures without giving any headings as to what those figures represent. Two seven two zero point five. 22720.5. ठीक है. Now, students, let us go to the next step in this, that is secondary distribution. Now, what it says, after apportionment of power generation costs to the four departments, the service department costs are to be redistributed. Now, as you can see, SD1 giving to SD2, SD2 giving to SD1. So definitely this is reciprocal. Have they asked us by which method you have to solve? So first they say apportion power generation costs. We have done. Reapportion service department to production department. That's it. They have not given which method. So we have to go by the same. Now within reciprocal, we have two: repeated or trial and error and simultaneous. Now if they have not specified, it is our choice. I will prefer following simultaneous. So we will solve this further by simultaneous equation. No, I will not do the working here because here I need to find out ORR. So I will leave 3 lines, students, for doing the working of ORR, and then I will write the working. calculation of total service departments. Correct? And we are following within the reciprocal, the simultaneous equation method. Correct? So I give you all 2 minutes. Give me the figures after simultaneous. That is, give me this. Simple. I'll take a 2 minutes refreshment break. You all solve and give it to me. Okay, start posting your answers. So you have to do secondary distribution by the simultaneous method. Okay, Shamli has an answer. Okay, so according to Shamli, after solving by the simultaneous equation, the figure of SD1, okay, is 97381. So Shamli says SD1, she's getting 97381.63. So let us say 97382. Correct, no? 97381.63 is as good as 97382. Others, please check and confirm. Shamli, proceed with completing the secondary distribution here. This is given 50, 40, 10. So 50, 40, 10. And this will be 60, 20, 20. Okay. Someone says 97382. Yes, brother, we have got the same answer soon. Correct. Rajveer says same figure. Okay, Himanshu has given me the totals. Wow, 206490. So now I have these totals. 206490 and one more 155386. Students, please check if you are getting these figures or not. Let me know if anybody finds difficulty in any of these values. If you're not getting Harsh says SD1 is 89961. In short, you all want me to solve it. What is the own cost of SD1? 80, 890 plus how much it is receiving from SD2? It is receiving 20% of SD2. What is the equation for SD2? It is 72,720 plus how much it is receiving from SD1? 10%. Now when I solve SD2, it is 80, 890 plus 20% of. So it is 80, 890 plus 20%. 144. 4, correct, plus 0.02 SD2. Sorry, this is SD1. This will be 0.98. $83, 324. So many answers. 206, 490. So this is matching. Shamli's answer is matching. Rajveer says same answer. Kuldeep, how can you allocate 540? What about the 10%? I did not understand your answer, Kuldeep. Harsh is saying SD1 is 10% of Y. Harsh, please see the question. SD1 is giving 10% to SD2, but we want how much SD2 is giving to SD1. SD2 is giving 20%. So it will be 20% of SD2, Harsh, not 10%. Kuldeep, how it can happen? How can you ignore? Which method is there in this sum, Kuldeep? Six. But if you have got 89961, please check, Jaya. I am solving on the screen. Check where you have made a mistake, Jaya. Those who are not getting the answers, please check. I am solving on the screen for everybody's benefit. You all have taken wrong percentage or did some mistake in calculation. Yes, Urmi, correct. And this is where you divide this, you get this. Those who did not get this because they have taken wrong percentage. Instead of 20, they have taken 10. मीनू कुमारी बेटा, प्लीज चेक. You say you are getting 89961. Please check, Minu. I have already done the solving on the screen. What is different? Let me know. Nitya beta, my totals are different. They are on the screen. Please check with your totals. Firstly, check whether you have got this figure for SD1. And then only after distributing this, you'll get these figures. So first check whether your SD1 calculations are same. Gunjan, read the question, you'll get the answer, beta. Read the third part of the question. It is given in the question itself. Yashashwini, I am not getting what you are solving. Perfect. So students, this is the final answer up to finding out total overheads. Now we need to find out ORR. And for finding out ORR, you need a base. So once you divide the total overheads by the base, so the ORR will be total overheads upon the base, whatever you have selected. Now, how to find out this? For this, you have to read the question carefully. Calculate the overhead rates, that is the ORR, which has to based on per direct labor hour. So they have mentioned what base they want. The base that they want is labor hours, correct? Now, for this, you have to be very clear with the language. What is the language saying? They want the base as labor hours because they want you to find out ORR on the basis of the labor hours, correct? Now, up till now in the question, nowhere labor hours were given. Up till now in the question, what was given was only the labor cost, that is the wages. Now, in order to find out the ORR, the base that they have suggested us to take is labor hours. But how will I find out labor hours? Now, interestingly, they have said that the direct wage rates in the two departments is this rupees 5, rupees 4 per hour. So they have given you the wage rates. Now, since they have given you the wage rates, very good, Krishna. Yes, very good, Rajveer. What you will do is, these are your wage rates. That is the rate at which you are calculating the wages. But I want labor hours. So I will divide these wages by the wage rates to get the labor hours, correct? So see, the base is labor hours. How I'll get labor hours? Direct wages divided by the wage rate. Because we find out wages by multiplying labor hours by the wage rate, right? So when you multiply labor hours by the wage rate, you get wages. Now we have to go backward. We have to find out the labor hours. So for finding out the labor hours, we will divide the wages by the wage rate. So automatically you will get the labor hours, correct? So 95,000 divided by 5. You will get this, correct students? 50,000 divided by 4, you will get this. So it is 19,000, correct, Roshna? Yes, Shamli. Kuldeep, correct. Yes, Riddhi. Voice not audible. Oh, please check, students, if it is not audible. So it is 19,000 and it is 12,500. right? 19,000, 12,005. Perfect. Perfect, students. Everyone who's giving me the answers perfect. So it is 19 and 12,500. So now total overheads here divided by 19,000 hours, here divided by 12,500 hours. So when you divide the overheads by this, you will get your ORR. So overheads are in rupees. You divide it by the labor hours, you get the ORR. Yes, Gunjan. 10.86, 12.43. Correct, Shamli. 10.86 something per hour, right? And 12.43 something per hour. So this is your calculation of ORR. Is it correct, students? Is this understood by all? Yes, Krishna, beta, please tell me. Let me know your question, Krishna. Good. So students have got these answers. They have understood this. Kuldeep is saying what? So repeat allocation of point 2. I did not get your question, Kuldeep. Please unmute and ask. What is allocation of point 2? Kuldeep, what is allocation of point 2? Please unmute and ask. Kuldeep, question number 2. Kuldeep, beta, please unmute and ask me. I'm not understanding what is your query. You raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Tell
Sir,
me,
I want to understand how this question number two,
which is question number 2, beta?
S2 and S was S1 were allocated. Just repeat.
No, but I'm still not getting. What is question number 2? You're asking this part.
Service department.
So see now, you got this by the equation.
Yeah.
Did you get this by this simultaneous equation first? You have to first find out this now by the simultaneous equation. Did you get this?
Okay.
That you have to first solve now. You have to do simultaneous equation because we are solving by the reciprocal method. You
Yes.
first find
Okay.
out this by the reciprocal method, then
Correct.
divide it. Correct?
Yes, got
When you
it.
will divide the total, you'll get of SG2. Take that total here, then divide it again. Correct? Understood now, beta?
गुड मॉर्निंग
Yes.
सर।
Good morning, beta. Please tell me.
सर जो इनका टोटल है सर्विस का, वो टोटल में फर्क है कि मुझे कुछ मिस मिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग है सर।
बताओ ना please. I'll solve your misunderstanding. Tell me.
सर मेरे को
आवाज चली गई बेटा आपकी.
हेलो
बोलिए.
सर, सर्विस का जो टोटल है 80,000 समथिंग है।
किसका टोटल है? कौन
सर्विस
सा टोटल की बात कर रहे हो आप?
सर्विस का सर।
बेटा कौन सी टोटल अमाउंट बताओ तो मैं मेरे को पता चलेगा आप क्या बात कर रहे हो.
SG1 सर।
हाँ ना, तो मेरी ये टोटल है, ये आप बात कर रहे हो क्या?
जी सर।
हाँ बोलो, क्या डाउट है इसमें? डाउट
तो
बोलो बेटा आपका.
सर मेरे को ये अमाउंट मैच नहीं हो रही थी।
तो बेटा अभी वो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, आपके सामने फिगर्स है, आप टोटल करो बेटा। फिगर्स मैंने सारे लिखे, एक भी फिगर मैंने छोड़ी नहीं, अब आप टोटल करो उसको।
1 सेकेंड
करो
सर।
टोटल आप। अब आपकी नई मैच कैसे हो रही देखो आप जरा। आपने कैलसी पे क्या टाइप किया है, इधर क्या है, आप मैच करो।
ठीक है सर, ओके।
यस कृष्णा बेटा, आई डू इट। मेधा बेटा, आई हैव सॉल्व्ड इट ऑन द स्क्रीन। आपका उसमें कौन सा फिगर मैच नहीं हो रहा है, आप मुझे बताइए प्लीज। यस गुंजन, यू आर करेक्ट। मेधा बेटा, आपका क्या नहीं आ रहा है इसमें देखो। मैंने फिगर्स लिखे हैं, आपका इसमें कौन सा फिगर मैच नहीं हुआ, आप बताओ मुझे जरा। बेटा तो ये इधर अगर 0.02 है और इधर SD1, ये 1 होता है ना। जब हम सिर्फ x लिखते हैं तो x इज 1, और इधर 0.02 है, ये इधर आएगा तो माइनस होगा। 1 माइनस 0.02 कितना आएगा बेटा? मेधा, 1 माइनस 0.02 कितना आएगा? मेधा बेटा, आई एम आस्किंग यू, इज योर डाउट रिजॉल्व? सो इज योर क्वेश्चन रिजॉल्व? एक्सीलेंट, excellent. So students, I hope you all have understood up to calculation of ORR. So we did primary, we did secondary, and after secondary, we calculated the main thing for which we have done all this working, that is the overhead charging rate, overhead recovery rate, which is in short called as ORR. Done? Clear? Perfect, Nitya. Great. Good, Kuldeep. So that's it, all students. You have to practice all questions from your modules. What you don't have to practice is two type of questions. One is the machine hour rate and one is the under or absorption, because these are the two types of questions that we are going to deal with in our next class, which is the third class for overheads, where we'll complete overheads. But other than these two questions, please solve the remaining questions from module, from your MTP, from your RTP, so that whenever we discuss in the next class, if there is any doubt, query on any of this, you can put it across to me. Fine. Harsh Beda, every question may not have the same base. The base depends upon the data given in the question. Like here, they have specifically said that you have to take the base as labor hours. In some questions, they will say take the base as machine hours. In some question, they will say take the base as direct labor cost. So depending upon what is the specific this given, the base given, you have to take that base beta. Fine. Excellent. Medha, then what we should take? I did not get your question. You said, sir, why we took SD1. Then you tell me what we should take. Medha, I did not get your question. If you're asking me ki in the previous sums I had taken XY, so better you can take XY. I simply wrote SD1 because here the department name was SD1. If I would have written X, somebody may not have understood, sir, from where X has come. So we normally say na, that the total cost of department X is X. So this is how the total cost of department SD1 I have written as SD1. Right?
So
Yes,
actually,
Medha.
sir, I got confused because I don't have the questions sheet with me because
Yeah,
earlier
but
I didn't join the class. I'm having typhoid from past 15 days. So sorry,
Okay.
sir.
I hope it is better now.
No, sir, it is not.
Okay. Take care, beta. Do
Thank
the
you, sir.
previous class to get the basics cleared.
Yes, sir. I have taken the previous, day before class. I mean, till 2 a.m. yesterday. Just one class is remaining.
No worries, beta. Do it and
Yes.
solve the questions. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. These are uploaded. The sheet is uploaded. You can download it to get the question. Or at such times when I'm reading the question, you should take a screenshot if you don't have the sheet so that this type of doubt will not be there. Fine, beta?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Yes, students, any questions further? No? Great. So then let us conclude our today's session. Please solve from MTP, RTP questions of this topic except to machine hour rate and the under hour absorption. Other things you can solve. These two will be completing in the next class. Thank you. Thank you very much, students. Manish ji, thank you. Yes, sir. Over from my side. Yes, student. Good day, Manish ji. Take care.